This girl was walking through the jungle when she almost stepped on a lion in the bushes. But what happened next was even scarier. This comes from a Reddit user. I'm a 26-year-old female living in South Africa. When I was 17, I worked at a small animal sanctuary that had a few acres of land surrounded by a low stone wall. It backed onto a nature reserve, which led to a national park. One day, I was asked to go check on an old blind and deaf dog that we had rescued years ago. The sanctuary founder wanted to see if he was still getting around okay, or if we needed to ramp up his meds. He was completely white with one blue eye and one brown eye. We called him Patch. Anyway, I walked over to where he was and found him at the base of the stone wall near the nature reserve entrance. This was weird because he never went this far. I was pretty sure he didn't know about the dangers outside of the sanctuary, so I got down on my knees to try and coax him back towards the house. As I was doing this, I heard some rustling in the bushes. I assumed it was a baboon since they were known to come into the sanctuary at night to steal food. So I stood up quickly and started making tons of noise. That's when I saw a pair of yellow eyes staring at me from the bushes. I screamed and took a few steps back, but that's when the pair of eyes got up and walked out. I was frozen with fear and couldn't move. It was then that I noticed its face, a male lion. I don't remember much after this. I think I blacked out because the next thing I remember is the sanctuary owner carrying me back to the house and shouting at me to snap out of it. Apparently what happened was that when the lion came out, it looked at me for a second and then trotted away. The sanctuary owner said that if the lion had seen me as prey, it would have bolted towards me instead of just walking away. And because the lion didn't attack me, we decided to let nature take its course. We figured the lion would probably scare Patch and he'd be fine. But about 10 minutes later, there was another commotion outside. I peeked out and saw the lion standing over Patch with his mouth open and blood coming out of his mouth. At this point, I was screaming and panicking, and the owner was trying to calm me down. So anyway, the owner grabbed a rifle and ran outside. When he came back in, he was holding Patch in his arms. I thought Patch had died, but he actually hadn't. The lion had bitten off of the tip of his tail, which was still attached by a little bit of skin. We rushed Patch to the vet, and they gave him an anesthetic to remove the rest of his tail. I don't think he felt any pain from the bite because it was so close to the base of his tail, and all the nerves were already dead from him being blind and deaf. But the anesthetic was necessary to stop him from licking his wounds and getting an infection. He ended up doing great after the surgery and lived for another 6 years afterwards. I don't know why the lion attacked him. Maybe it was just hungry. I wish I could convey how massive this lion was. It was huge. I think it must have been a subadult male because it didn't kill Patch, which would have been easy prey. And yet it nearly killed him. I don't know. It's strange. The area where this happened is known for having lions, but it's very rare for them to leave the reserve because there's enough prey inside. The national park next to us doesn't allow hunting, so the lions there are very comfortable with humans. I read online that sometimes lions will kill other animals just for fun, not necessarily because they're hungry. Apparently this is called a, quote, trophy bite. So maybe that's what happened. It probably thought it was a hyena or something. I don't know. As for me, I haven't been back to that sanctuary in about 10 years. I was traumatized and wouldn't go back. I wasn't even sad that my job ended because I was so scared that I was gonna not get hurt or worse. My whole family was worried that I would get PTSD or something. I did have a couple of nightmares after it happened, but that was it. And also, despite this, I love dogs more than anything, and I have 2 dogs now, so the trauma didn't last too long. I hope Patch didn't suffer too much, and that he enjoyed the rest of his life. And yeah, I do think that lion knew that it was messing with a dog rather than, say, a baby warthog or something. I mean, if it was hungry, it would have eaten the dog. But I think that this lion was just messing with its prey before killing it. Lions do that kind of thing sometimes. But something that I'm wondering is why Op decided not to shoot that lion. I mean, it was biting dogs and Op he had a gun. I would have shot that thing. I would have shot it so fast. But maybe that's just me. I grew up around guns. I've hunted before. I have guns in my house. But it seems like in this situation, the best choice would have been to use the gun. And it seems like the main reason why Op didn't shoot the lion is because the owner didn't want to shoot the lion. The owner said that if the lion had charged her, then he would have shot it. But since it didn't charge her, he didn't. But I think that is stupid because this was a wild animal that was attacking other animals and humans. Even if the lion hadn't charged her, I think it should have been shot. It seems like the owner was just letting the lion walk away out of mercy, basically hoping that the lion would find prey somewhere else. But I think it was wrong of him to not shoot that lion. I think the lion should have been shot immediately because these things can't just roam free. They could easily change their mind and start attacking people. And I know that the owner might have thought that the lion would come back and attack her again. So he didn't want to provoke it by shooting it. But I think he should have done it anyway because a lion attacking her again would have been an extremely rare thing. Lions aren't like dogs where they can hold grudges and stuff like that. I think the lion would have forgotten all about her. Also, Op says that the area where this happened has a lot of lions, but they rarely leave the reserve. But if that's true, then why does the reserve even exist? If there's lots of lions around there, then why would you put a reserve there? Like, there is no point in having a reserve if all the animals are going to go right back into the jungle. And I'm curious why Op doesn't seem to be afraid of lions anymore. I mean, she has 2 dogs, and I guess she doesn't really worry about the dogs going outside or anything like that. But I would. I mean, I would constantly worry about my dogs being attacked by a lion if I lived in an area with lions. I'd be like, oh my gosh, what if a lion attacks my dogs? What if it drags them away? So I don't really understand Op's mindset here. She's constantly looking over her shoulder. She's checking the bush like she's paranoid. And I don't think that's entirely irrational. I mean, if I was her, I'd definitely be more cautious. But anyway, that's a wild story. Glad that she got away with only a little bit of trauma. And it sounds like the dog lived a pretty good life after all this. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for listening. See you next time.